Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Jen here. So today I am super excited for this video. I've been waiting to do this for a really long time. I'm gonna dread my hair. So I did this when I was 20 years old. We used the back comb method. My mother helped me. Well, my mother did it for me, let's just be honest, and she did an excellent job. I had dreads for almost 6 years and they were very long and awesome. I loved them. I'll insert pictures around here of them. But I had just had my first son and I felt like I didn't want to be stereotyped a certain way. And now I can say that I have lived without dreadlocks for as long as I lived with dreadlocks, and I just think I have a preference. I really miss my dreadlocks. I have thought about redreading my hair, you know, for a couple of years now. It's been kind of on my mind, and I had this idea that when I was much older and my kids were gone and my hair went gray, then I would do dreadlocks again. But you know, you only live once, and I don't want to wait that long. So I am going to show you how to dread your hair. So I would not do too thick of a dread down here at the bottom. Now I'm going to pin my other hair up out of the way, because any hair that you cross dread, so hair that maybe should be in a dread up here, but it gets stuck while you're dreading and you don't realize you knotted in, later you will have to rip those to separate them, and it will be uncomfortable. So I'm coming. Hang on, let me finish this dread and I'm coming. My son is working on his science fair project. We're doing electromagnets, which is super fun and more difficult than we expected. So, so I have to go check out those electromagnets and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are on day 2. I'm pretty exhausted. This is how far I got. Last night though, I had done all the way to this row, and then I realized that they were too chunky. You don't want them too chunky, or else as they get really long, it starts to hurt your hairline because they're so heavy. So you do want thinner dreads for long-term comfort. So I actually brushed out all of these dreads last night after finishing them and re-separated and dreaded all this hair, which was a task, let me tell you. So now I'm at the part where I have to work from the horizontal straight lines that have been going all the way stacked up the back of my head, and I have to transition into my front triangle. Now my front triangle is important because we're going to cut the top of the triangle off and have it go down the back of my scalp, and the rest is going to then start to, in thinner dreads, fall forward. So now I'm just gonna go by feel. I'm gonna use the bricklayer method. So while I'm feeling around this crown of my head to decide what dreads are gonna fall back and sideways and go forward, I am pulling the previous dread and making that my center line for separating my next dread. You can see here that after I divide the hair, I do pull it back to make sure that it's going to fall in between 2 dreads so that there's not big chunks of scalp showing. Okay, so now I have tons of dreads here in these 2 to 3 narrow rows. This is a lot of separated scalp, if you can see it. But that's okay, because the crown of my head is where my hair is the thickest, so it's all right that there's more dreads. And also, the crown of your head is where you really want your dreads to layer in nicely. So more dreads and thinner dreads is better, because you don't want people from the side or behind to just see these giant parts in your hair. Alright, so I finished that back section and I pulled forward. This was the triangle I had where it's going to start going down, but I actually had this triangle separated into 2 parts, a large triangle and a small triangle. So now I'm coming back through, I'm pulling back my large rear triangle, and then you can see very clearly in my hairline the triangle that I have here. I'm going to get this permanently set out of the way. So I'm down to my smaller triangle in front, and then this side that I want to lay very flat here. So let me get you guys the best view I can get you, and here we go. Alright guys, so I have completed my horizontal rows, my side chunks on both side here, my side wedges that I had here, and now I'm ready for my smaller triangle. By the way, look how good that shadow root turned out that I did. Super impressed with myself. All right, so it's time to get all this hair back out of the way. Here's how we are looking so far. See the other side. Yeah. So now for the funnest and scariest part, because dreads look so good when you have still just like a little bit of like smooth shiny hair around your face to soften them. Because like once all my hair looks like that, it's gonna be a bad hair day for the next year. For the next 2 months for sure, but the better part of the next year. And then after that, it will be a good hair day for the rest of my life having dreads. But yeah, look how good that shadow root turned out. I am super happy with that. All right. So here you see my pretty good triangle. I'm gonna start by cutting off the triangle and sending that backwards. And then I'm going to separate my hair and I'm just gonna do my bricks all the way up on both sides. So this one I am doing a little tighter. It's not gonna be as floofy because the hair is short and it'll just go for the next months. So for starters, I'm gonna do it a little bit tighter, which means I'm ripping closer. I'm not like building a big knotty nest and then palm rolling it. I'm actually like tie knotting this one, if that makes sense. I will still come back in and carefully back comb, but I'm not gonna do, because I want this one to be tight. Of course, you can't fake dreadlocks. You need them to mature on their own. But there are things you can do in the beginning, especially with the facial ones like this, to help them look just a little bit more polished. You can see I'm kind of, it's called a root. Well, this is technically root balling when you scratch up the roots. But I'm root balling the end. I'm kind of slightly folding up and pressing in that little bit of a tail. And then I palm roll the bottom first, because if I palm roll the top and pull all the way down, I'm pulling all that hair that I just root balled back out. So I have like 4 strands of long stringy hair, and I don't want that around my face. So I'm gonna try and root ball the ends. And then I'm gonna slowly work back towards my scalp. Then I will start doing the forward palm roll. There we go. And then I'm pulling that root ball back out just a little bit. And there are the ones. Ugh, this one's still sticking out further than I would like. Those are the ones that are gonna frame my face. And this one, until it learns to behave, will be tucked back behind my other dreads. You do want to be thoughtful about the fact that you're doing your hair once for like the next however many years you have dreadlocks. So when it comes to the front, you really want to be thoughtful about where these locks are going to fall. Looks much better, right? At the beginning of this video, when I said I was gonna dread my hair and then you saw my first set of dreads, you were like, oh no, this girl's making a terrible choice. But now you're like, oh, it's coming together, right? Right? It's true. I know it's true, because that's what I thought too. You can see this one really nicely falls in between these two, so. Tuck that guy back nicely into my big chunky ponytail. You can see here I've got like thick, thin, thick. I'm gonna very carefully, while the knots are still loose, you have a lot of wiggle room. And the truth is, if you pay attention to your dreads, you'll have a lot of wiggle room for the next at least couple of months, where you can really get in there with your crochet hook and your back comb, and you can really fix some of these things that, like, if this stays like this, with this like fat part, narrow part that I can pinch right there. If it stays like this, when this is a 5-year-old mature dread, you will see that. So as much as that sounds scary, over the next couple of months, this isn't like a set it and forget it kind of thing. For the next couple of months, you really want to pay attention to how your dreads are forming. I feel like it's very symbolic of child raising. I love dreads because I feel like they're one of those things that are like an allegory for everything. Like, I was just thinking about how if I make this little mistake now, in 5 years it's gonna be really noticeable. And it's that way in all of life, right? Seeds start small and they grow into great big things. Lies start small and they grow into great big problems. The little things that your children, the little behavioral habits that your children have start really small, but later they are a really big deal. Yes. Tuck that little guy in nicely. Go ahead and tuck both of these guys in. Okay, so now I'm moving on to this side of the part. You can see I have got enough thickness for 3 rows, no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate those rows. there we go. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And I will catch you next time. Bye guys.